Roger, this is Matsuura MAM72-35V. What does the MAM mean?
Well, MAM came from Matsuura's Matsuura Advanced Manufacturing. The 72 was devised of 72 hours, so you could leave the machine for 3 days of unmanned running.
So it's essentially, it's a machining cell, isn't it here? We've got the automation that feeds the machine tool. The machine tool itself is a 5-axis machining centre. And the 35V, what does that mean?
That gives you 350 diameter maximum size component.
Okay, now 5-axis machines, loads of them in the marketplace, as we both know. Matsuura, this is a premium quality 5-axis, isn't it?
It is, but it's had to be built to a very high standard because we're looking at unmanned running, and with 32 pallets on the front of the machine, you've got to be able to let the machine run unmanned for as many hours as you can. Our customers do that from a very early stage of their installation, and reliability is key. If you don't have reliability, you then have a machine that is set up to run, but you have to have a man in front of it, and that's not a good investment.
And when I look at this machine, I know you've got big infrastructure here in Coalville. You carry these machines in stock. If somebody was watching this, they wouldn't just buy this machine because it's here in stock. What would be the reason? What would whet their appetite? Why would they look to purchase something of this nature?
I think really it comes down to trying to reduce the cost of their customer's product or their own product. If you have this machine and you're going to be running unmanned, you haven't got to have a man standing in front of it, and because the utilisation of the machine is very high compared to a standard horizontal or vertical machine, we are reducing the amount of people within the factory producing work.
Now the utilisation of the machine tool, that's kind of like spindle up time, I suppose, is it, or metal cutting time. Yes. How do you, let's take a vertical machine. You must have done the research. What would you call the average uptime or machining time of a vertical in a machine shop?
Yeah, normally with a vertical machine, because of the nature of the machine where you have to load, unload the machine, do setups, change fixtures, change tools, programs, etc., we'd be surprised if you could get more than 30% utilisation from a vertical machine, maybe even less than that. On this particular machine, because we have the 32 pallets at the front of the machine, and up to 520 cutting tools, you can get very high, in the high 90s of utilisation.
High 90s, okay, so let's get this right. I've got a machine shop, I've got 4 or 5 machines there, I've got 4 or 5 operators, and I'm not in the market for one of these at the moment, but then I might think to myself, well, hang on a minute, could this replace all of those machines and potentially be managed by one person, therefore improving my production phenomenally? Is that the right sort of analysis to make?
Yeah, if the work size is correct, it's always down to the right product. If you're drilling 4 holes in the plate or something fairly easy to do, then this isn't the machine. But if you've got a complicated part, high accuracy, you need reliability from the machine itself, and you need to deliver to your customer on time, then this can reduce the amount of setups you use, which is going to reduce the amount of cost on the actual part itself.
Now that leads me nicely into my next question, because you might look at the Matsuura brand and you might think, well, it's out of my reach. You know, I've got a small machine shop, maybe I've got lower cost machinery, and I'm thinking to myself, it is out of my reach. But where are you selling these machines? Is that not the case?
Not really, no. They're sold to all walks of life, from one-man bands who wants to set the machine up and run it unmanned throughout the weekend and throughout the night, to very large companies who see the benefits of having a machining cell, which is a small footprint, located in their factory. I think the main selling point of the machine is that it's not down to the price. The price is one thing, we understand that, but it's what you get out of the machine. And if you buy 4 individual machines, that's going to cost you more than this machine. You've got to run it, you've got 4 lots of electric, 4 lots of footprint. You know, in your factories, it's going to be quite a large investment whichever way you go.
So that cost of ownership is a big part of it?
Oh, very much so, yeah. Overall, if you do the return on investment, if you've got the correct product and you can reduce the amount of setups you do, and you can decrease the cycle time, but in doing that increase the accuracy and get the part out on time, then you know it's quite easy to explain to a customer the benefits.
Okay, now 2 things on the machine and the automation system itself. With the machine, we've before we started this interview, we spoke about the footprint, and you told me how they look at reducing the footprint with Matsuura machines. How have they done that on this range?
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese sort of ethic that they look at. The footprint is quite key to any machine if being newly developed. This particular machine is a bridge type machine, so the 4th and 5th axis unit actually slides underneath the bridge, which reduces the width of the machine, and that's a key point.
And does that bridge give you additional rigidity as well, because you've always in a kind of a fixed?
Yeah, it does over a conventional C-type sort of frame machine. It will give you better rigidity because there's less overhang of the spindle.
And with the machine as well, the spindle, Matsuura spindle, a very popular topic of conversation when we start talking about Matsuura machines.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, give us some of the history behind that and how good the spindles actually are.
Well, the Matsuura spindle, the Maxi as it's branded now, has always been designed and manufactured in-house. It uses extremely high accuracy bearings and spindle shafts, and has been built along for many years now to give the utmost in reliability and lifetime.
Okay, so it's a big part of your push on these machines, isn't it? Now, with the automation as well, then if I was looking at automation, in some senses in my head that means lots of the same parts, but that's not the case, is it?
No, flexibility. Here we have 32 pallets, and the majority of people who use this sort of equipment will probably have 2 fixtures locating a similar part. The rest of it will be for other parts within a kit of parts, or maybe a different customer's product. So the benefit is, if it's left within the machining cell itself, a quick pallet change, which is about 25 seconds, gets you a completely different product, different material, and you're machining somebody else's part without any setup time.
So total flexibility.
Flexibility. That's the key with this machine, is being flexible.
Now, I suppose all the things we've been talking about, are they the reasons why this is your best-selling range of machines?
I think so. You know, the MAM72 range itself goes from this machine, which is a 35V, through to our 100H, which is a metre-size horizontal machine. And yeah, that's where it's come from, really. Multi-pallets, multi-tools. That's our strength.
And what you can do is you can control everything via the one control. There's no third-party inclusion or anything.
Yeah, all from us. All from us.
Brilliant. Thank you, Roger.
Okay, cheers, Paul.